I'm not sure what got into Apex in order for them to revert their stance on solos and end up adding it in season 21 here for a 6-week LTM takeover, but I gotta commend them because this is one of the best LTMs we've ever seen. Look, if you took a break from Apex and you're just kind of hearing some rumblings that solos is back, trust me, you want to jump into the game at least for an hour and try this game mode out. This is definitely some of the most fun I've had in a while, and a lot of the tweaks that they added to this game mode that isn't in the normal aspects of Apex has actually turned out to be a really good time. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some tips, break down how this game mode differs from all of the others, and hopefully give you some of the best strategies so you can get more wins and more kills in the solos LTM. Let's get into it. So not only is this the first time that we've seen Apex solos since season 2, it's actually going to be one of the longest takeovers, and they added a ton of features that honestly make this game much better. First things first is there are 50 players, not 60, so they toned down the player count a little bit. The ring is already setting when you're in the dropship, so it's a little bit of a faster zone. This doesn't really impact the game too much. It just kind of speeds it up a little bit. I didn't feel like I noticed it too much though. You get a respawn token, as I'm sure you've heard, and this will last you up until round 4 zone. So if you don't use your respawn up until round 4, you will not be able to respawn if round 4 closes. The respawn should put you over the circle, so if you dropped early, the circle pulled to the other side of the map, and where you dropped first you died, you're probably not going to be that close to landing back there. You'll probably be going to a different section of the map unless you really stretch out your landing. There's also auto regen on your health, so that means about after 5 seconds you will start naturally healing up without having to do anything, as long as you're not actively taking more damage. So this sort of thing will not work in the zone unless you're in a heat shield, obviously, but if you're getting shot at, yeah, your health is not just going to automatically regen. It's getting that safe separation or after you wrap up the fight where your health will automatically regen. And also all of the weapons are fully kitted, and that will base up in rarity, so from white, blue, purple, gold, etc. This has made looting and fighting way smoother. Now when you kill a player for the first time, it will drop your ammo type, so it's smart ammo in that regard, or smart loot. It's not going to drop what they had, it's going to drop the ammo you used for your loadout to kill them. It will also drop their shield core so that you can swap it, and this is on their first death. Okay, look for the shield core whenever possible and look for that ammo. On top of that, I mentioned the health regenning, but also your health will automatically go from whatever was missing all the way up to 100 instantly after you down that player. So that enemy gets you to 1 HP. As soon as you kill him, you get all the way up to 100 HP. Snap of the fingers that quickly. If you can get their armor swap on the ground, that will be huge. On their second death, and you'll notice this when you kill them, it'll say squad wipe. This is when they will drop that player's whole death box. So this can make looting a bit tough at times when it comes to like shields, but since all the weapons are coming with attachments, it's definitely one of the better decisions that they've made, because otherwise looting would be a pain. That is the only downside at times when you kill a player for the first time and you may not have a ton of shields and you may be fighting multiple people. There could be sort of a shortage of shields depending on what legend you are, depending on how much time you had to loot, etc. Now one of my most important tips is look for the evo caches that they don't give out in normal trios or ranked. Now you'll see blue ones and purple ones on the ground or in crates. Blue is for 150, purple is for 350, I believe, and this will add up especially off of drop. This will level your armor up much faster. Now there still are the evil harvesters around, but there's 15 players in one POI. Going for that could be risky when you have some evo caches that are near you. Third parties happen fast. Now as I said, it will regen your health after a kill, but not your shield. So after you kill a player, look for that swap on the ground or that swap in the box if it's close, and if you can quickly do it, do it. If the swap is far and another player is near or was involved in the fight, which is going to be super common, then just shield up and stay in a safe spot. This may sound obvious, but trust me, it's what's needed in this mode. Every time you shoot your weapon, another player is thinking, hey, I want to third party this. And remember, it doesn't take much now. It really doesn't. It's a 1v1. And sometimes you're going to be 1v1ing a player and some other player will get involved and shoot you in the back or shoot them in the back. And if it's you, that's going to suck. And if it's them and they steal your kill, that's also going to suck. But you just got to keep in mind, like as soon as bullets ring out, attention is on you in one way or another. This means that going for armor swaps, even when you think it's really safe, could backfire. Taking extra liberties and not really factoring in that, hey, there are players around me and I got to be careful here. I just attracted attention. They're going to know more about me if I was shooting and they weren't than I'll know about them in most cases. There's obviously this battle sense feature as well, which I'm sure players have heard about. This will alert you on the left-hand corner of your screen and it will tell you when you are near an enemy within 50 meters. That's all it tells you, okay? There's a subtle audio cue to it, but it's basically just that little notification. legend. My first thought when I saw this was that it was gonna mitigate some of the game sense in the game. And while it kinda does, it isn't that big of a deal at the moment. There would be times when it'd be nice to kind of sneak up on a player, but I feel like with a lot of what goes on in this game mode, it's a pretty good addition. At least that's my early take on it. That could change. Now, this will obviously play into what I was just talking about when it comes to being aware of players around you and trying to go for armor swaps or trying to grab some loot when you may have some player or players around you and you're not fully shielded up or whatever it may be. But one of the most important psychological things you're going to need to know about this game mode is players will challenge you more than they would in a lot of other modes. There's less to lose, so to speak, especially on their first death. And people know it's a 1v1 with regen on their side. So this makes for way more ego challenges. I was honestly not really ready for that. There were a lot of times where I'd have a guy beat, let's say I did 75% more damage to them, and they would still try to shoot me and they wouldn't try to heal and things like that. It was just a little crazy. And sometimes that threw me off guard. They'd get a kill or, I'd get a guy low, I'd chase him, he'd start regenerating because so much time had passed, which it wasn't that much time. It was only that 5-second window. And before I know it, another guy's shooting me in the back. So there's just a lot of aspects to this where players will play a little bit different, I think, at least in my experience, more so than they would in trios. Now that sounds rather obvious because they don't have teammates to help them, but just keep that in mind. Now I know a lot of players are going to be wondering about what are the best legends or best weapons to be playing solos with. And look, here's the deal. Every legend has some decent aspect when it comes to even the solos game mode. There used to be this age-old tale that people would cry out when players would tell Apex, hey, we want solos. They go, Apex is a team game and some legends will just be useless in solos. And it's like, okay, yeah, like you're not going to get a lifeline res off. And now that there's health regen with Lifeline's drone, does that prove that she's not as good? Yeah, probably, but her ultimate still could get you to red armor quicker than any of the other legends. So, there's value in each legend in one way or another. It's just like the amount, right? So I just got to say, like, I think a lot of legends are super viable. Now, with that said, here are a few that I thought were pretty good. Controller legends like Catalyst, Caustic. You could play Rampart or Watson, obviously, but like if you're going to kind of hunker down and play a more passive approach, these legends are great because they can slow down the third parties, all right? Skirmisher legends are also great because, getting a 1v1, win it, another player's near, repositioning tool somewhat, right? And Alter can play into that, definitely, with her tack and her ult. Having that ability to skirmish out and reposition is huge, especially in a solo mode. It hasn't proven to be as necessary as I thought though, right? There are legends in the support class though, like Mirage and Conduit I found useful. Mirage is a great 1v1 legend, we've always said, and with that going into play, it really matters. Conduit has that ability to regen her shields, so you combo that with the auto regen of the health. Got a pretty good legend, not to mention her ult. And then there's recon legends that play into more of a timing when it comes to the battle sense kicking on. Okay, a guy's near me, 50 meters, see her Q, see her passive, Bloodhound scam, whatever it is. Crypto's buffs, they also made it much better. I'm going to do a tier list on both of these things, guys, legends and weapons, so stay tuned. But I'm just here to say that a lot of the legends are viable. When it comes to weapons, here's what I got to say. We're still in a meta of ARs, but shotguns are really strong in this game mode. I died to a lot of Peacekeepers. A lot of these fights will be close range. It's just how it's going to be. If you get 99 pumped with a PK, it's going to be hard to win, right? It's such a huge amount of damage very quickly. And I just got to say, like, shotguns are really strong right now. So if it were me, I would be carrying an AR and a shotgun, maybe an AR and an SMG if you can't find a shotgun, or double AR. I wouldn't be sniping and sitting back and trying to farm players or do anything like that. But in some ways, sniping could be a little bit better because there are no knocks anymore. It's just fully killed when you get it down. So factor that in as well. Now, players always wonder during LTMs, will the kills count? Will the stats count? Yes, in the solos, they will. And there are actually some challenges with some badges specifically for the solos game mode. As you can see, there are some pretty simple challenges, then they kind of scale up and get a little bit harder, like get 100 kills, win a game, get a top 10 finish with 10 different legends. But there was also a 20 bomb badge for the solos mode and a 3000 damage badge. And if you get all of these challenges completed, then you get this other badge that says you've completed all of the solo challenges. So there is something to sort of grind for within this mode on top of your stats already counting, which is a great aspect that Apex added into the solos mode. If you're looking for some sort of tip to try to get this 3K or 20 bomb badge for solos, my advice would be, well, listen to everything I've just said previously, but also take some extra liberty on your first death. You know, be more aggressive. Drop into a spot with several other players, assuming you can secure a safe landing, but don't land too isolated. On that first death, that's really where you can get really aggressive and try to get a bunch of kills off of drop. And remember, the math won't always add up when it says how many players are left. You don't know how many players among that remaining player count has another life. So even when you think, oh, I've got 6 kills, but it says there's only 10 players left, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's on their last life. So keep that in mind. I think getting a 20 bomb is attainable for a lot more players in this game mode. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm confident I will, as I only played last night. But this is definitely one of the best game modes. So if you haven't played it, definitely do, and let me know your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and check out this video next. Peace.